So, all right. Uh, shouldn't do that, man. I scratched it before I showed it to you. My bad. But basically, everything is a relationship. Reading daily is a relationship. And it's not a relationship with books, man. It's an engagement with how you read the books and how you deal with the books and how you handle the books. So I wrote this and I'm excited to kind of like elaborate on it a bit. And the theme seems to be relationships. And I started with this 2 videos ago, but I ended up like kind of just looking at people. But now it looks different. Now that I've explored a bit what I meant by relationship and how I see relationships. When I read it, it just kind of like clicked in my head, even though, whatever, man. Uh, in all honesty, man, when I started actively living alone, when I used to be back, like when I used to be in Africa, I used to live and I had people within the community. I had people that helped, and I had people that kind of like existed, lived with me, and it was a beautiful setting. It was very much like a small community setting. So I never worried about these things. I just had individual relationships or just like overall relationships, neighbors and all that good stuff. But now that I moved and I'm living alone, like over the past 5, 6 years, I've been actively just, sorry, 5, 6 years makes sense, but I've moved to Lebanon 2 years ago. So I don't know why I said 5, 6 years. But I think at that point is when I stopped actually, I started spending, in 2018, I started spending a lot more time at home. So I started kind of like developing different ways to do things. I started watching more lectures. I started reading more. I started writing. I started getting more interested in things, math, uh, finance, like going back in the roots of things, right? The things that normally you go to university for. But yeah, so everything is a relationship. The time I actually started exploring that, it was the time where I was looking at my cats and I was like, I want to be a whatever, a better father. I want to do better when it comes to them. I want to clean their stuff on time. I want to put food on time. I want to give them a shower, give them medication on time. I want to do all the stuff that allows for a stronger, just me as being the person in charge. I want to develop a relationship where I am in charge of these little lives. And even though when it comes to cats, they don't care, man, right? They'll always manage. They'll always figure something out. And yeah, even when I fuck up when it comes to their litter box, they go and they pee somewhere else in the house. Sometimes I suspect they might actually pee like on the actual bed, but thank God, not my bed, the other bed. Uh, but yeah, I wanted to build a better relationship with them, and then I realized, like, when it comes to the house, and when it comes to cleaning the house, and when it comes to taking care of the house, that's a relationship too. And I think the whole thing struck me hard when I looked at. I'm learning. I'm a programmer and I'm a software engineer basically. I'm like right now trying to understand deeper things when it comes to like programming and code and how to like structure your code and like better ways to like approach architecture. I love it. But as I am diving deeper into these things, I start slowly to realize how my relationship with the field is changing. And it's as simple as under normal circumstances, I would read something and it'll take me like 5 minutes to read it. And then when I'm done, I basically implement whatever I implement from it. And then it's just oblivious to my head. It's fucked up, it's gone. And at some point in the future, I remember that I did something with it, and then I come back to it, and then it's a weird way of me having memory or me reflecting on these things. Because what effectively it does, is it reminds me that I actually saw that on the documentation page or on some website that does A, B, C, D, E. So what I did was I memorized my path towards that piece of information without actually completely encompassing that piece of information. And the more I actually engage with that path, the more that piece of information becomes relevant to my head, but still, like, it doesn't really build on top of other pieces of information. I do not really, my relationship with reading this stuff is mainly I need to finish with this. I want to get things done. The other day, I think 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in the kitchen and I was like, this doesn't feel good. So I stopped what I was doing because I was cooking and I put all the food that I cooked and I said, before I start eating, I wanted to kind of like clean everything. And it was a surreal feeling afterwards, kind of like something was done. I finished what I had to do from in front of me. It's over. I don't care. That kind of shit. And it seems like anytime I sweep the house as well, anytime I kind of like see something that's not really in its place and I move it, I clean it. It's very hard with cats around. Like they're assholes. I love them. But they're always like pushing stuff to the ground and shit like this. But the overall, as long as I'm making sure I'm putting in some effort to kind of like maintain the house, I feel like I'm developing a relationship with the house. I feel like it becomes easier for me to sit in the house. It becomes easier for me to engage with my own things in the house. It builds that kind of like, it makes me feel like me and the house are actually, it makes it more feel more like a home. It makes it feel more as a place that's sharing my own efforts towards life. It's the easiest way to do it. And that's me building a relationship with this house specifically, or building a relationship with me being with the person that handles a house properly, instead of the person that builds a relationship with the people that handle the house properly. It's the smaller things that we don't really like notice on a day-to-day basis that I kind of seem to notice all the fucking time. But going back to the programming part, the relationship I have with the material was weak, but the relationship I had with being the person that can find the material was strong. So I developed, instead of developing a relationship with whatever I'm trying to understand in order for me to move forward faster and in a more confident way, I built a relationship with how to figure things out quickly and under like timelines. And mainly, uh, it's showing me a bit about myself. Sorry, man. It's one of those moments where you go like, aha. But no, last week I literally spent 4 days sitting with myself and just reading the documentation and reading it slowly and repeating the parts that I just kind of like don't remember what I read in them. And that was an attempt from me to build a stronger relationship when it comes to these things. And I have been developing a very solid foundation towards the actual software that I'm using. But still, there's a lot of different like factors that I would want to be strong in, but I have to start one at a time and like I have to experiment with them as well. It's fun though. Now, most importantly, the original relationship is the relationship with when I'm reading a book, I'm not developing a relationship with the book. I'm developing a relationship with reading. And since everything is a relationship, what I'm truly developing is a relationship with the person that reads, with the reader, which is me. I'm developing a stronger sense of bond, commitment, connection towards the person that's able to like focus when there's a book in front of them, that's able to take make 10 minutes to clean the house, that's able to check himself anytime he's leaving the house to see if he actually took care of the cats properly, if he cleaned after them, which I did today. I'm super happy for that. But no, I did today. I cleaned the whole area outside because it was sand everywhere. It was like the dirt stuff that they use, litter everywhere. But so it's the one day a week or it's been 2 weeks where I actually like cleaned the whole thing. So it's been a good day today. I also planted today. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it's fascinating. I don't know, like it feels like once you start observing the things around you, wherever your eyes lay are the points of focus. And then you are able to either allow them to attract you or you basically extract what you want from them. Attraction versus extraction, could that be a thing? I don't know. But it's fun to look at the possibilities where we could actually build relationships. It's fun to look at all the smaller things that allow us to engage with, allow us to like fill in the details, that allow us to build on top of who we are and what we are towards what we want to become. And it's funny because, like, our essence, our truth would only be revealed if we listen to what our calling is and if we follow it and chase it. Whoever we are is just a lot more as we take steps forward. And we need to start building a relationship with that. Because every small thing we build a relationship with is actually building a relationship with that essence. Oh my God, so profound, so deep. Walani, this is me being corny because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, fuck, man, it's just a lot. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.